I don't think we had the pace, obviously, to be on pole, but yeah, very bad laps.
Hey everyone, today we're diving into the behind-the-scenes action of Mercedes at the Austrian GP. What seemed like a promising weekend for Lewis Hamilton and George Russell turned into a roller coaster of emotions. Want to know how they performed in qualifying and their reactions to the results? Stay tuned, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any details, and let's get into it. Qualifying at the Austrian GP was a roller coaster for Mercedes. While Max Verstappen and Lando Norris dominated the front positions, Mercedes struggled to find their rhythm. Lewis Hamilton had an underwhelming performance, finishing in P6, while George Russell managed to qualify in P4, showing a bit more competitiveness. Hamilton was seen analyzing Russell's telemetry, trying to understand where he could gain time. Despite a good performance in free practice, he couldn't translate that into qualifying. His frustration was evident, especially since he was once again out-qualified by Russell. On the other hand, Russell was confident and optimistic with his P4. He knew he could fight for a podium in the sprint race and was focused on extracting the maximum from the car. The performance gap between the two Mercedes drivers was noticeable, and Russell stood out as the more consistent of the two. The difference between Hamilton and Russell in qualifying reflected the challenges faced by Mercedes, but also their determination to improve. Lewis Hamilton did not hide his frustration after qualifying at the Austrian GP. The seven-time world champion had a difficult session, being outperformed by his teammate George Russell and facing issues that left him far from the pole position battle. Hamilton finished in P6, a position that did not reflect the potential he had shown in free practice. Hamilton was seen analyzing Russell's telemetry, trying to understand where he could improve. This willingness to always seek improvement is a characteristic that defines Hamilton as one of the greats in Formula One. He knows that every detail counts and is willing to do whatever it takes to find those marginal gains that can make a difference. After qualifying, Hamilton expressed his disappointment in an interview, mentioning that his laps were disastrous and that he couldn't get into the mix for pole position. However, he also showed renewed determination, stating that he would give his best in the sprint race and that the focus would be on getting a better qualifying for the main race. Hamilton acknowledged that the Red Bull ring is not the best for overtaking, but he was ready to take any opportunity. His ability to analyze and quickly adapt to the track and car conditions is what makes him such a formidable driver. The comparison between Lewis Hamilton and George Russell has been a recurring theme since Russell joined Mercedes. At the Austrian GP, this dynamic became even more evident. While Hamilton struggled to find the ideal rhythm, Russell managed to shine, showing consistency and speed. Russell had an impressive performance in qualifying, securing the fourth position, while Hamilton finished only sixth. This difference in results raised questions about the car setups and the individual approaches of each driver. Russell seemed more comfortable with the car setup, extracting maximum performance, especially in the fast corners where Mercedes faced difficulties. Hamilton, on the other hand, had a complicated session marked by mistakes and difficulties in finding the necessary grip. His experience and skill are undeniable, but Russell's performance in qualifying showed that the young driver is more than ready to take on responsibilities and compete equally. The approaches of the two drivers are also noteworthy. While Hamilton uses his vast experience to try and adjust and adapt the car to his preferences, Russell takes a more aggressive stance, seeking to make the most of every opportunity, even if it means taking some risks. The competitiveness between Hamilton and Russell is healthy and pushes both to improve. This internal dynamic can be crucial for Mercedes, which is looking to get back to the top of Formula One. After qualifying, Toto Wolff did not hide his disappointment with Mercedes' performance. In an interview with Sky Sport F1, he admitted that the result was worse than expected. The team had hoped for P2 and P3 positions, but ended up in P4 and P6, which was a significant letdown, especially on a track where Red Bull is notoriously strong. Wolff praised the performance of Max Verstappen and Lando Norris, acknowledging that Red Bull and McLaren were superior. He pointed out that Red Bull adapts very well to the Spielberg circuit, perhaps the best circuit of the year for them. Wolff mentioned the lack of 10 km/h in fast corners as one of Mercedes' main issues, preventing the team from competing on equal terms with Red Bull. Despite the difficulties, Wolff maintained a realistic and determined stance. He emphasized the need to continue working on setup adjustments and finding the perfect balance for the car. Significant changes would be necessary for the next qualifying session, especially after the sprint race, to improve performance. Wolff also mentioned the importance of managing temperatures, which can vary significantly and impact the car's performance. The curbs at the Red Bull ring forced the team to adjust the car's height to avoid damage to the floor, adding another challenge to the setup adjustment. One of Mercedes' persistent challenges has been the bouncing issue, which affects the car's drivability. Toto Wolff mentioned that this problem has been a constant over the last 3 years, hindering the team's competitiveness. At the Austrian GP, the situation was no different. Mercedes struggled to maintain the car's stability in fast corners, losing precious 10 km/h in critical sections of the track. Wolff explained that increasing aerodynamic load to gain grip in the corners results in poor drivability, creating a very delicate balance. The team needs to find a setup that allows for good performance without compromising the car's stability. This requires millimetric adjustments in the car's height and tire pressure, always aiming to keep the car in the optimal performance window. For qualifying and the sprint race, the team plans to make changes to the car's setup. Wolff highlighted that every millimeter of adjustment can make a significant difference. With the curbs at the Red Bull ring, the team is forced to raise the car a bit to avoid damage to the floor, which also influences performance. The team is also paying attention to temperature variations, which were 12 degrees higher during qualifying. This change directly impacts tire performance and, consequently, the car as a whole. Managing these factors will be crucial for Mercedes to improve its performance in upcoming sessions. After a challenging weekend at the Austrian GP, Mercedes' expectations and future strategies are in focus. Toto Wolff and the team know that there is still much work to be done to catch up with Red Bull and consistently compete for victories. Recent races have shown improvements, but also highlighted critical areas that need attention. Wolff mentioned that although the team has made progress, important elements are still missing to compete at the top. The lack of speed in fast corners and bouncing issues are priority areas that Mercedes needs to resolve. The focus now is on finding a more balanced setup that allows the drivers to extract maximum performance without compromising drivability. The team is also looking at updates and technical developments that can be introduced in upcoming races. Every little gain in performance can make a big difference in the highly competitive world of Formula One. Wolff emphasized the importance of continuing to work hard and smart to maximize the potential of the W15. For the drivers, the approach will be to focus on consistency and take advantage of every opportunity. Hamilton, with his vast experience, and Russell, with his aggressiveness and determination, will form a formidable duo that can help Mercedes achieve its goals. Looking ahead, the team is confident that with the right changes and a well-defined strategic approach, they can improve their performances and compete for the title again. The next races will be crucial to test the new strategies and adjustments made to the car. The Austrian GP was full of ups and downs for Mercedes, but the team is determined to turn things around. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates, and leave your opinions on Hamilton and Russell's performance in the comments. See you next time.